Okay. So we're going to start with nested structures. We can have a structure within another structure. This is the example that we have. We create structured personal information that is going to have name, address, and city. We have the three variables right here, member variables. They are all part of person information. And then they ask us to create another structure that is going to be called student. And for that student structure, we need an ID number and we need a name, an address, and a city. But we already have those three fields. And those fields are part of person information. So what we do is we create an object structure, P-data, or any other name, with that data type, as if it was a new variable right here. It's going to be a variable, right, that is going to be enclosing three different variables, which are P-data is now going to have name, P-data is now going to have address, P-data is now going to have city. And they added a year and they added a GPA. So if we were going to visualize this in memory, what we're going to have is we create this. Let's suppose that we already have person, info, and we have P. We create P. So P, remember this, is not until we create the object structure that we reserve the space in memory. It's going to have name, it's going to have address, and it's going to have city. It's going to have those three. So when they create this student, if I say student S1, student S1 is going to have student ID, which is the first one, and it's going to have P-data. And what is P-data? P-data is personal information, and personal information is this three. So it's like I'm going to have a sub structure right here that is going to be divided into three. So now this is P-data, but P-data is name, its address, and its city. But P-data is inside S1. And then I have year, and then I have GPA. So in order to access the different fields, I'm going to be using dots. So if I have P by itself and I need to access name, I use P dot name. If I need to access P address, I use P dot address. If I need to access city, I use P dot city. And if I ask you, how many variables do we have in P, in the object structure? The answer is going to be 3. 1, 2, 3, right? P name, P address, and P city. If I ask you, how many variables do we have in S1? I have 3, I have 4. Another answer? There will be 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In order to access student ID, I'm going to use S1 dot student ID. In order to access year, I'm going to use S1 dot year. in order to access GPA, I'm going to ask s1.gpa. But in order to access the name, the student name, I have to use s1.pdata.name. Because name is inside pdata, and pdata is inside s1. So I just have to follow the nested order. If I'm going to be accessing city, what will be the name that I have to use? In name in S1, of course. S1 dot name, it was city, right? S1 dot city. Exactly, s1.pdata.city. If I need to access address, what do I need? s1.pdata.address. Okay, so we have that information right here. If they are going to be placing a name inside this S5, they have to use s5.pdata.name. If they are going to be placing a city inside S1, they have to use s1.pdata.city. So we use the dot operator multiple times to access fields of nested structures. Okay, now when we pass structures as function arguments, if we're going to be passing the variables, then it's very simple. We just use like s1.gpa. This is a call. We're calling this function, call compute GPA. So we're just passing, if it's going to be a structure variable, then we just pass it like that. If we're going to be passing this, the entire structure variable, or what we can call the structure object, then we have to use the name of the object. We have to use the name of the object. Okay, and we're going to see how this is done. We're going to finish the practice exercises, and then we're going to be doing a program. Okay, so we're going to do number 3. We were doing this in Notepad, right? So I'm going to start a new. Okay, everybody has it? Open the practice exercise. So we're ready. Write a declaration for a structure named location with the following 3 double member variables: latitude, longitude, and height. So how do I start? Write a declaration. Struct. And then we're doing location, aren't we? Write a declaration. I'm doing the first line. Write a declaration for a structure named location with the following 3 data member variables: latitude, longitude, and height. So what is the name? Location. I open the curly brace, and then I close it with a semicolon. Okay, then double what? Latitude. And height. Semicolon. I can put it in 3 different lines, right? Is that it? Yes, that's all I need. So I'm done with my first structure. Second line, then write a declaration for a structure named city, which has the members city, name, which is a string, and position. And this position is a location structure declared above. So city name is a string, and then position, which is a location structure declared above. So let's do this. How do I start city? Structure city. Open curly brace. Close curly brace. String. String what? City name. Okay. Then they want me to declare another variable, which is position. What is the data type of position? Is it string? Is it a double? It's location. So now my data type, it's location. It's not string, it's not double, it's not int, it's not short, it's not Boolean, but it's location. Why? Because location is going to be a data type that encloses 3 different things. And that's it. Okay, questions on this? Questions? Okay, now somewhere in main, int main. Okay, remember we don't know which line of main, They want us to define a variable named destination that is an instance of the city structure. So how do I do that? Define a variable named destination that is an instance of the city structure. City destination. Okay, so based on city, I am creating a variable, they call it here, but it's a structure object that is called destination. It's an instance. And destination is going to have how many different fields? How many different variables? 4. That's correct. Which are, Ricardo? Exactly, that's correct. City name, latitude, longitude, and height. Then they ask us, now write assignment statements that store the following information in destination. So they want us to put Tupelo in city name, 3428 in latitude, minus 8877 in longitude, and 3610 in height. So how do I do that? Let's suppose that we have also some couple of lines, I don't know where, but we need to do that in main. What, I'm sorry? Location? Do we have location? Is that a variable in main? Destination. Then? You already told me the destination has, or Ricardo told us the destination has 4 things, right? Parentheses? The dot operator. Dot what? City name. Look at what happens. Immediately I have my name there, city name. So I just need to press, this is going to be assigned the value of Tupelo. Then latitude. Destination, dot, position, dot, latitude. It's assigned the value of 34.28. The next one? Destination dot position dot longitude. It's assigned the value of negative 88.77. The next one? Where do I put height? 361. destination dot position dot height. It's assigned the value of 361.0. Okay, what I want you to remember here is, why are we using location here, destination dot position dot and then this variable? Because we created position inside city, and position came from location, and location has these three variables. So that's why when I ask you, how many variables do we have in city? We have 4. City name and 3 that are part of position, latitude, longitude, and height. But in order to get latitude, I have to use the word position. So that's why here when I create my destination, I never use city. City is just a data type. What I use is the names of the object. See, I don't use location here. I use position. Because remember, city and location, they are structures. And that means if they are structures, they are just my plan. They don't have memory space. It's the object that has memory space. So position has memory allocated. Destination has memory allocated. Okay, with this we finished the 3 practice exercises. Do you have any questions? Okay, then what we're going to do next is we're going to be doing one program where we're going to put together the structure, the creation of an object structure, and the manipulating of the data inside that object structure. You have in unit number 3, you have your structures assignment number 1. I'm going to do it with you. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to write the pseudocode for this. Let me just put it here to the side. Okay, if this program was going to be coded in the object-oriented style, this was going to be separated. Remember, we used the concept, one programmer is going to be programming the structure part, another one is going to be doing another section, and another one is going to be another section. Why is this? I told you the main thing is that we can concentrate, or the programmer can be an expert on structures. So I am the expert in the United States of structures, so all the structures are going to be sent to me, and I'm going to be just doing that. Another programmer is going to be specialized in another type, in functions. Another one is going to be in main. So I have those programmers that are going to be doing the different parts, and then I can bring everything together. Why do we break these programs apart? It's going to be faster. The outcome is going to be faster. We're going to be able to get results, and also reusability. So this concept is for 3 different programmers, okay? But we're going to do it in one, just as one programmer. So this is the assignment. They're asking us to write a program that uses a structure named movie data to store the following information about a movie. This movie data is going to be stored in the title, which is string, the director, which is string, the year release, which is an INT, and the running time, which is in minutes. You have to include a constructor that allows all 4 of these member data values to be specified at the time a movie data variable is created. So right away they are telling that programmer that they need a constructor. The program should create 2 movie data variables and pass each one in turn to a function that displays the information about the movie in a clearly formatted manner. So this, after you create the structure, then the program is going to create 2 movie data. What program? Well, it's going to be main, because main is the one that creates things. 2 movie variables, which are the objects, and pass each one in turn to a function. So we're going to be calling a function that displays the information about a movie in a clearly formatted manner. Pass the movie data variables to the display function by value. So they want us to use a copy only. So I'm going to start with my plan. The first thing is going to be description. I want to make sure that I understood what they are asking me. So we're going to put it in our own words. So what are we going to be doing in this program? Describe it to me so that I can put it here. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do is create a structure that is named movie data. Okay. Okay, this includes the member variables are title, which is going to be a string. That's it?
No. Okay, I'm sorry. The director string.
Director, that is going to be string. The year is going to be an integer. And minutes, they are going to be integer as well, right? So these are my member variables. Okay, is that it? That's all I'm having that structure? What else are they asking me to include? In the structure. I'm still in the structure.
Include a constructor. Well, it includes the title, director, year, and minute.
Okay, so this constructor, tell me what is this constructor is going to do.
Okay. It displays values.
No, it does not display value.
Okay.
The constructor cannot display. Constructor only assigns, initializes. So what is this constructor going to do? Yeah, I already gave you the answer, right? I told you the constructor, the only thing that it can do is initializes. So it's going to assign values. Where are we going to get the values from? From the user. So this constructor needs parameters so that we can receive the values that are going to be sent. How many parameters do we need? 4. Include 4 parameters, which are what type? String, string, integer, integer. And then use the parameters to initialize the member variables. Member variables, which are right here: title, director, year, and minutes. I don't need to name them. Or if you want, we can just, if I need that detail, I'll do it. Title, director, year, and minutes. So I'm going to use 4 parameters. One is going to be string, another one is going to be string, another one is going to be integer, another one is going to be integer, and I'm going to use those parameters to initialize the member variables. Which member variables? The title, the director, the year, and the minutes. So right here, what I have is what? My pseudocode. So I have my description and I have my pseudocode.
And that this is the pseudocode?
No, this is for what? For structure only. Right here. So this is my description, my structure. Let me put it here, structure. This is like programmer number 1 did this. So let's continue reading now. Bless you. The program, here's where main starts. The program, so let's see. Describe what main is going to be doing. So I'm going to put here main. Description first. Describe it.
Create two movie data variables.
Okay. Create two movie data variables.
That was pass one return to a function.
Mm-hmm. And then pass them one at a time, right? To a function. That's it. Okay, so now let's do the pseudocode. So what are we going to do?
You do movie data.
Give it to me in your own words. Don't code it in your mind. Hmm? Create a what? The an structure object. Okay? Create a structure object. We can say that it's going to be called X1, whatever name we want. Let me just put it right. Structure. With, they want us to do it with 4 values, right?
Right.
4 values. And they are going to be constants because they are not asking us to input anything. Okay, so I did the first one. Now I already created a structure object that is going to be called X1.
Then you have to do an X2 too, like that.
Okay, so now I have to create a structure object, and I can call it X2 with, again, 4 values. which are going to be constants.
Why are they called constant? They don't have a perimeter?
No, they constants means they're not variables. That's it? That's all we do?
You need to display the function by value.
Okay, display. Are we doing it in main?
Yeah, you have to display it. So
In main? Read carefully. You already told me in my description, then pass them one at a time to a function.
you need a nested or something like void.
Read the description that you just gave me. So I need to pass, what do I need to pass?
The movie got a variable. Not the constant.
What do I need to pass? Give me a name. You have it there. Hmm? X1 and X2. So I need to call a function. I'm going to say the display function and send X1. Then call again the display function and send X2. And then end my program. This is the end of the program because that's all we're doing. You told me that here in your description. Create two movie data variables, which are the objects. I'm going to put here object structures. And then pass them one at a time. So I'm calling this and passing X1. I'm calling and then passing X2 because we have to do it one at a time. Not both of them together, but one first and then call it again and send the other one. But we're not done. We still need the display function. Where is that display function? Remember, this is another programmer. So now we're going to be the third programmer. So this is going to be my, I'm going to call it display function. So what are we going to do in that display function? Well, give me the description. What are we going to receive in the function, or what are we going to do in the function? Display the information. That is where? About the movie. About the movie. Where do we have the information about the movie? No, not in movie data. Movie data is my blueprint. It doesn't occupy space. Where do I have it? In X1 and in X2. Remember the blueprint and the actual houses that we built. Movie data is just the blueprint. I cannot live inside the blueprint, right? They have to build the house for me in order for me to be inside. So movie data is the blueprint. They build X1, and now we can put things inside X1. The furniture, the people, they can move in. They cannot move into the blueprint, to the plan. So X1 is the one that has the values. And they are telling us in this description, pass the movie data variables, which are my object structures, to the display function by value, which means do not send me the location, send me a copy by value. That's what it is. Remember the difference between sending with the ampersand and sending without an ampersand, a variable. So we're just going to be sending a copy. So my description is going to be, give it to me in your own words. See if you understood. What is this function going to do or receive or, okay, it's going to display what? Display a copy of the information in the, I'm going to use here object structures, okay? Object structures, so that we can understand. Yes. Display a copy of the information of the object structures. Okay, now how are we going to do it? They want me to use this function. Just complete sentence. That's, I don't like the grammar mark there. Okay, so how are we going to do it? Don't give me code. I'm doing on my pseudocode. I need instructions so that I can follow them, so that I can do my code, of course. Okay, display, we can do that. Display what? Contents. X1, I don't get X1, I get a copy. That's what you said here. Displays a copy of the information of the object structures. So if I'm going to display a copy, what do I need to do before I can display it? Constructor only work in structures or classes. This is a function. Think of a function. How the function is separate from main. Function does not know what main is doing. So how do I send something to the function? With the arguments, right? And the parameters. So before I can display, I need to receive, okay? I need to receive the copy that was sent to me. So I need to create here as a parameter an object structure to receive the values from the object structure sent. So they are sending me X1. I have to receive it in another object structure because X1 is a object structure, so I need to receive it in another object structure so that I can receive the values, the title, the director, the year, and the length. Now that I have it, I can display the title, then display the director, then display the year, then display the length. This is a function. Do I pass or do I return something? Are they asking us to return something from this function? No. Nothing. Nothing. So this is the end. So here I have my description. The function displays a copy of the information in the object structures. The copy of the information that is in the object structures. Okay, what do I need to do? First, create a parameter that is going to be receiving the object structure values. And then now that I have it, I can display the title, I can display the director, I can display the year, I can display the length. So I'm going to have 4 lines in my function. That's it. So we have 3 different routines. One that is going to create the structure. Another one that is going to be creating 2 movie data variables and then pass them one at a time to a function. And another routine that is the one that is going to be displaying a copy of the information in the object structures. We need to understand first what they are telling us, right, to do right here. That's why we had to write the descriptions in our own words. And then we need to plan how we're going to achieve that, our methodology, which is, and we're using right now, what? A pseudocode. So here I have the pseudocode for the structure. Here I have the pseudocode for main. Here I have a pseudocode for the function. Very small, right? Each one of these tasks is very small. Bless you. Okay, questions on this? I don't want you to stay behind, so let me know if you still have questions before we do the code, because we're ready to start the code now. We need to understand this before we move into the next step. No questions? Everybody okay with this? Okay, so let's start Visual Studio. Where's my Visual Studio? Oh, here it is. So we're going to start a new project. Console application. I'm going to call it movie data. This is going to be an empty project. I'm going to add code. It's going to be a CPP file, and I'm going to call it the same, movie data. They asked us to document our programs, right? So we always have to document. And this is the description. So I'm going to just copy this that I have here. Main, the same thing. I'm just going to copy that. I need the description for all of them, right? Today's date. '24th. And the programmer is COSC 133702. Okay, so we're ready to start. Okay, so how do we start? A C++ program. What do we need to do first? Yes, the preprocessor directives, right? So I have to put include. What includes do we need? IOStream. Okay, and string. That's it, right? Using namespace std. So I'm ready to do my structure. Remember this one, this part they gave it to me, so I'm going to put it in there. So we are assuming that we are that programmer right now, the programmer that is doing the structure. So we have it here. Pseudocode, I need 3 member variables that are title, director, year, and minutes. And I need a constructor that has 4 parameters and that initializes all this. So I'm the programmer, I just need to now translate this into code. How do I start a structure? Struct, and then the name, movie, they already told me how to call it, so I do it. Movie data. I add my curly brace, beginning, ending, and closing the statement. Okay, now string title, close it, then you have it there, right there. Okay, we can do comma and put director. Why? Both are strings. Okay, then int, year, comma, minutes. Close it. That's it, right? So I'm done with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, easy. And they're paying me for this. Now include a constructor that has 4 parameters, string, strings, integer, integer, and use the parameters to initialize the member variables, which are the title, the director, the year, and the minutes. So now I have to add a constructor. How do I start a constructor? CONST? No, right? The name what? What? The name movie data has to have the same name as the structure. That's how we tell the compiler that this is a constructor. Movie data. Then the parameters right here include 4 parameters. So parameters go in parentheses. The first one is a string, and I can give it any name. So I'm going to use the letter T. Then string, I'm going to use the letter D. Then int, I'm going to use the letter Y. Then another int, and I'm going to use the letter M. I'm just using the first letter of each name. T, D, year, and minutes. Okay, this is a constructor, so that means it's a function. Functions, they need curly braces. What do I do with them? These are my parameters. The T is a parameter, the D is a parameter, the Y is a parameter, the M is a parameter. They are going to receive something. Excuse me? Title, yes. Title is going to be assigned the value of T. So that's what I'm going to be doing, right? Use the parameters to initialize the member variables. The member variables are title, director, year, and minutes. And my parameters are T, D, Y, and M. The next line. Director. It's assigned the value of D. Next line. Year. It's assigned the value of Y. I'm sorry, no quotes.
That's what I was going to ask you. Why you have quotations for the just one?
No, it's not because it's one. It's a variable name.
Right. Okay. And
The semicolon, we need to end the line.
Okay.
Okay. The last one, it's assigned the value of M. And that's it. I finished my structure, and they're paying me for this. But remember, I am the expert in structures. Next part, main. So I'm going to leave a couple of lines here because we're going to need to include something. Let's see, main is going to create two movie variables and then pass them to the function. So here's my pseudocode. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the end line, which has 5 lines. So I put int main, open and close parenthesis, open my curly brace, and then close my curly brace. My first instruction is create a structure object with 4 values. So how do I create the structure object x1? Movie data, yes. x1 with 4 constants. I can either do the list, remember, if I'm going, we talked about this last time, I can do the list with 4 values right here, but they don't want me to use a list. They want me to use a constructor. So if I use a constructor, I have to use parentheses. What is the first thing that we're going to be sending? The title of the movie. So let's see, World War II movie, okay? The next thing that we need to send? Director. So I'm going to put this as Jones. Is the director. The year is the next thing, so we are going to put 1960. And then the minutes is just an 80-minute movie. So we close it. Semicolon. So this is line number 1. Create a structure object called x1 with 4 values. Here they are. 4 values. Next line. Create a structure object x2 with 4 values, which are going to be constants, right? This is a constant, this is a constant, this is a constant, this is a constant. So how do I start the second line? Movie data x2, and then with the names. The Titanic, who was James, right? Something? The director, 19 what? 80. And it runs for how many minutes? 200, 300 minutes, right?
Yeah, it takes like an hour.
I don't know, but I'm just going to put 250. 250 will be like, what, 3 hours? 4 hours. It's not that long, but okay. Okay, so we have the second one. Now, call the display function and send x1. Okay, so we're going to say display movie. It's a function name. We don't have it defined, so it's going to give us an error here. And we're sending what? X1. X1. So I just put X1, semicolon. Then call the display function again. So display movie X2. So we're sending X2 now. And then we have end, return, 0. So we're done. So we're done here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Behave. I want you to see you all laughing like that in the quiz. Very good. Very good. Okay, so we have this. We have an error here because we have not defined our function. So this is saying, hey, you need to define the function. So we still haven't received the function from the programmer. So we finished main. Do you have any question on main? Okay, so now we're ready to create the display function. The function displays a copy of the information in the object structure that was sent, right? So they are, step number 1, create a parameter object structure to receive the values from the object structure sent. So just by reading this, are we going to have a return value? No. So I start with void. And then the name of the function, we already used this name. So we're going to, we have to continue using that. So void display movie. And then, what do we need? Movie data. Movie data, and then any name. Okay, any name. I can use Y if I want. Movie data Y. Y now it's another object that is going to be receiving a copy of X1 the first time that is called, and then a copy of X2 the second time that is called. What is the data type of Y? Movie data. Yes. It's not something that they gave us. Remember, they tell us that data types are int, double, short, float, character, boolean. Those are the data types that we already have in C++. But now we are creating our own data types. And what is our data type? It's movie data that is going to include 4 different things. So the data type for Y is movie data. The data type for X1 is movie data. The data type for X2 is movie data. So what are we going to be doing in this function? We already did the first one, create a parameter. Here it is. This is my parameter. To receive the structure object, here it is. So now what I need to do is display the title. So I'm going to put here, cout. The title is, and where do I have the title? In X1. What did I do with X1, with the values in X1? I sent a copy. When I made a call, I sent a copy right here. Where do I have now a copy of what I have in X1? In Y. So I'm going to display Y dot, and look at what happens when I put a dot. It's telling me Y has director, minutes, title, and year. Which one do you want? Title. So I'm going to use title. Then cout. The director is. Then, where do I have the name of the director? Y. Dot, and then director. Then I need to display, see, I'm displaying the title, I'm displaying the director. Now I need to display the year. The year was, where do I have year? Y dot here. And line. Okay, and the last one is the length of the movie, right? Cout. I'm going to put here, it runs for where do I have minutes? Y dot, I have to close the, for Y dot minutes, and I'm going to end by saying minutes. Line. I'm going to include another cout here so that I can skip a line before I start. And I don't return anything. Okay, so we're done. Before we can run it, I need one more thing. This is my function that is going to be placed underneath main. So before, I need my prototype. So I'm going to have here my void display movie. And it's going to be, the data type is movie data. Close it and close the with a semicolon. Before main, we always have the prototypes of the functions. Questions? Okay, we're going to run it. There it is. The title is World War II. The director is Jones. The year was 1960. It runs for 80 minutes. The title is The Titanic. The director is James. The year was 1980. It runs for 250 minutes. And we're done. Questions? Remember that what we need to understand is the logic, how the data is passed from one function to another. When is the constructor executed? Why are we just sending a copy? Why do we need to create another object? That is the part that I want you to understand, because every single program is going to be different. It's going to be different. So we need to understand the logic so that we can solve that problem. The format to create a structure is the same. We're just going to write every time we're going to start struct and then a name. Curly braces, close the curly brace, semicolon. That is going to be standard so that we can get it from a manual. We can just copy it. But it's how are we going to declare those variables? Why do we need a constructor? Go over the program, go back to the PowerPoint presentation and try to follow the logic. Try to follow the logic so that you can see what happens in main memory and each part.